Hi everyone, and especially pregnant people today. Welcome to another episode of Self-Care with Meg. My name is Meg and I'll be leading you through your practice. So like I said, today I'll be focusing on a practice that is appropriate for pregnant people. So prenatal yoga flow. I'll be going through modifications, different postures that will help strengthen and stretch in a good way to help your pregnant body. And as a doula, these are all things that I suggest for my clients. I encourage my clients to keep up their movement practice throughout their pregnancy. So this practice will be completely appropriate for first and second trimester, and then third trimester, you do what feels comfortable, right? Some of this is going to feel really good in your body still. Some of it is going to be a little bit too much. But doing what feels good in your body is a pretty good indicator of what is safe. Obviously, laying flat on your belly to do cobra pose is not going to feel good. Doing a really deep wrenching twist is not going to feel good. So my encouragement is to trust your body, and I'll of course be also offering plenty of modifications to make this practice safe. Some other things that'll help make the practice more safe and comfortable is having props. So I'm sitting on a bolster right now, and it's a Hugger Mugger bolster. This is their standard bolster, and I love this product because it stays firm for a really long time. I've had this bolster, I don't know, for over 5 years, I think, and it's still as firm as the day that I bought it. So if you're using it to support your hips or to lay back over in Shavasana, you want something that's not going to go floppy after using it a few times. So I definitely recommend this. I recommend having blocks. So if you're practicing in a studio, most studios are going to have at least blocks to borrow, probably a blanket for props. But having your own bolster to bring, especially if your studio doesn't have one, or to use at home, is really good. But also blocks, it can help to set up your bolster as a higher ramp, making it more comfortable. Also helps you to reach the ground in forward folds. You can sit on them in squats, and I'll be going over a lot of different ways to use them. And then finally, they're also Hugger Mugger brand, if you couldn't see that. A cork block is good, a foam block is also good. I like the cork blocks because, again, they seem to stay firm for longer. The cork doesn't really deteriorate, so that's why I like that. But they're not as hard as a wooden block. I don't personally like wooden blocks because they're too hard and uncomfortable for me, at least, to use. And then finally, a blanket. Doesn't need to be a special blanket with tassels and stripes or anything like that, but any blanket that you can roll up to put underneath your hips, roll up to put behind your neck, is going to be helpful as well. And then the last piece of equipment, I guess, is the mat, your yoga mat. Get something that is going to be sticky. Something that I have heard, not from many women, but from a couple of people who I have worked with through their pregnancy, is that if their foot slips on the mat, especially in like a standing warrior two pose, it really hurts in your pelvis. And it's a really good way to pull something, which is obviously not ideal and really not fun. So buy a quality mat, something that is sticky, something that doesn't get slippery as soon as there's a little bit of moisture. This, I'm pretty sure, is, this is I think this is a Manduka mat. It says Eco Yoga Mat, EKO, but I'm pretty sure that's the Manduka logo that I'm looking at. There's a lot of good sticky Manduka mats. Prana makes a really good mat. Hugger Mugger makes a really good mat. Lululemon's mat is really good. So just do your research, I guess, and get a good mat that's not going to be slippery. All right, so after all of that, we're gonna get started in a seat, and we're gonna take a breath practice. Oh, I guess there was one more thing that I wanted to mention. There's this lump in my pocket right here, and it is a magical spell that my cousin bought me in New Orleans. So I'm keeping it on my person because I think that that was a nice gift. So that's that. All right, so you can sit in a chair or sit on a bolster. If sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable for you, you can stack some blocks and sit more in a squat. Some women also find it more comfortable to kneel and to sit on something relatively tall. That actually feels very comfortable to me right now, so I'm going to stay like this. So set yourself up however you're comfortable, get some wiggles out. Roll your shoulders down and back. Check in with your breath. Then you're going to place your hands over your belly. Starting to breathe smooth and slow. It's a good idea to keep your breath continuous. Some breath practices, especially that I teach, have a pause in the breath, holding the breath for up to 6 seconds. And a slight pause in between the breath cycle is fine, but holding your breath for a long time, cutting off that oxygen supply, isn't a great idea. So we're going to take a breath count that is 4 counts in and 8 counts out, making the exhale twice as long as the inhale. And this is a really relaxing breath. It's a breath that I use with my clients. And after we get into it, I'll add a visualization to go with it. All right, so exhale all of your air to begin. Inhale through your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale and keep that going. So it's inhale 4, exhale 8. And if you're having trouble lengthening the exhale that much, you can hiss the breath out through your teeth. That's a good way to slow down the exhale. You can also create a little bit of restriction at the back of your throat, so almost like ujjayi breath, so more like ha, like making that capital H ha sound, but with your mouth closed. And that can help to slow down the exhale as well. So close your eyes if they're not already closed, keeping that breath cycle going. And as you inhale, you'll imagine a light growing in your belly, moving up your spine, up through your chest, dragging up your arms, up your throat, through your head, and then pouring out the crown of your head, surrounding your body in a protective orb of light. As you exhale, that light will draw back in through the crown of your head. That light is charged with energy, charged with protection. That light will drag back down your throat, down your spine, down your arms, around your belly, surrounding your belly, and all the way down through your tailbone, down your legs, to the soles of your feet. Again, as you inhale, you'll feel a light or see a light growing from your belly, moving up the spine, up the neck, to the head, pouring out the crown of the head, surrounding your body. in a protective orb, a protective egg. As you exhale, that charged light will draw back in, down your throat, down your spine, encircling your belly, and flowing all the way down your legs to the soles of your feet. And every time you take a breath, that light can grow brighter, warmer, stronger. That light coming from the connection between you and your child, surrounding you in the protective energy of love, connectedness, strength, and then drawing that light back down, protecting that connection between you and your child, and flowing that energy throughout your body. And if you believe in a higher power or universal energy or just a connectedness, the energy of connection that humanity shares, that is where that energy is drawing from. That is where that protection is coming from. So you have your own force of love, your own force of strength, your own force of power coming from within you. And that can merge as that light surrounds your body, drawing from the energy of your higher power, your connection to the universe, your connection to humanity, and pulling that charged energy back in. Take one more round just like that. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. And when you're finished, you can release that breath, come back to your natural breath. Release your hands off your belly, maybe wiggle out your fingers. And then if you are sitting, if you're kneeling, we're going to come back to a cross-legged shape. And again, you can sit on a blanket or a block here. Place your hands on your knees. Roll your shoulders up to your ears. Inhale. Exhale, take them back and down. Keep a good grip on your knees. Inhale, draw your chest forward, tip your chin up. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin. Seated cat and cow. Inhale to rock forward. Exhale to rock back. Keep it going a few more rounds. Inhaling to lift the chest, press through the sit bones. Exhaling, let the shoulder blades spread apart on your back. The next time you come through center, sit up nice and tall. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the ground, left arm over. Press the ground away, side body stretch. Stay here for a breath in, breath out. Inhale, come back through center, both arms up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand over. And if the ground is feeling far away, you can always place your hand on a block here. Bring the ground a little closer to you. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, come back up. Both hands down by your sides. And then come all the way onto your back, planting your feet on the ground. Walk your arms in close to your sides. Feet are about hip distance apart. And press your heels down and forward. Point your tailbone towards the front of your mat. So you're just picking up your hips a little bit here first. Pointing your tailbone towards your heels. Engaging your glutes, engaging that back line of your body, and then magnetizing your thighs towards each other. Keeping that engagement, pick your pelvis up. Walk the backs of your arms onto the mat so your palms can face up. You can keep your palms facing up or grip the edges of your mat for a little more support. Keep pressing your heels down and forward. We're going to take a couple little pulses here. Inhale to lower your hips, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Exhale, lift the hips back up. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come up onto your toes and roll your spine back down to the mat. Toe heel your feet as wide as the mat. Bring your arms out to the sides. Rock your knees right and left. All right. Fully extend your legs, full body stretch. And then press yourself all the way up to a seat. Cross your ankles, plant your hands, and come over into a tabletop. And at some point it might feel better to have your hands up on blocks here, giving yourself a little more lift in the chest. And if this is ever uncomfortable, you can always cat and cow from a kneeling position or a seated position. But cat and cow, really good for the spine. Plant your hands right underneath your shoulders to grip the mat. Inhale, lower your belly. Drag the chest forward. Exhale, press the ground away. Round spine. Again like that. Inhale, belly lowers. Tailbone up, chest forward. Exhale, round back. Keep that going on your own. Moving with your breath. Keeping the movement fluid and continuous. Come back to a neutral spine. And get your right leg out behind you. And extend your left arm out in front of you. You can always just lift the leg if lifting the arm as well isn't enough. And this is a really good alternative to taking Chaturanga Dandasana. So lowering down to take upward facing dog or cobra. Obviously you don't want to be laying on your belly. So once that is not available, taking time in tabletop balance, strengthening from here is a really good option. All right, stay for one more breath in. Breath out, place your hand back down to the mat. Bend your knee, big circles with your thigh bone. Full range of motion, as big of a circle as you can make. And take it around the other direction. Re-extend that leg. Inhale. Exhale, bring your knee back down to the ground. We'll take the other side. Extend your left leg to the back of the mat. Right arm reaches forward. Tabletop balance. And press down actively through hand and knee. Stretching out long. Engaging not just in your shoulders, but in your hips. In your legs, using all of those muscles hugging to bone to stabilize here. Stay for another breath in. Breath out, hand comes back down. Bend your left knee, big circles with your thigh bone. Trying to lift that knee as high up as you can, especially as you circle it out to the side. Take it around the other direction. And re-extend that leg. Breath in. Breath out. Bring your knee back down to the mat. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Press your hands down and forward. Pedal out your feet. This is a really good way to stretch out in your calves if you're having a lot of tension in your legs, and also getting a gentle inversion, which can take some of the pressure off of your spine. But make sure that you're rolling the eyes of your elbows forward, hugging the arms back into the sockets. And you can always keep soft knees here to point your tailbone up. The legs don't need to be fully extended. All right, come back to stillness. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step between your hands. And you may need to manually move your foot up with your hand. It's totally fine. Do what you need to do. Untuck your toes. Come to your fingertips first. Also, toe heeling your right foot a little wider so your hand is to the inside of your foot. Give your belly some more space. And as you exhale, shift your hips back, half splits. And as always, if you need more space, hands on blocks. You can roll out your ankle here. You'll stretch into the different parts of your calf and hamstring as your foot rotates in the different directions, and take it around the other way. All right, shift forward to lunge. You can keep that wide stance so your hands will fit to the inside of your foot. Then come up, Anjaneyasana. Shoulders over the hips. Press down actively through both feet. Really pull your shoulder blades down and back. Feel your lower traps engage, so the muscles right at the bottom of your shoulder blades, by the bottom points of your shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale, cactus your arms, press your elbows back, lift your chest. Twice more like that. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, open twist to your right. You pressing down through both feet. Other options here, if you want more support in this twist, you can have one hand on your knee, one hand on your lower back. And this is a good modification for revolved crescent lunge. So often people will lock their elbow on the outside of the knee. That might be too much twist, or you might not have enough space at some point to get your belly over there. So staying upright in your twist, resting a hand on your leg, resting a hand on your lower back, or two hands on your thigh, and just rotating through the shoulders, getting a little bit of a twist is a good option. Also, open arm is great. Next, inhale, bring both arms back up overhead. Exhale, plant your hands down to the mat. And then take your left foot, move it over to the right. You may want to blanket underneath your knee here if that's feeling sensitive at all. Once you have that shape, right foot stays the same, left foot behind you, like a kickstand. Right hand stays planted, left arm up. Extended side angle variation. And keep wrapping your right butt cheek underneath you, so it'll feel like engaging the right glute and trying to pull it over to the left a little bit. Stay here for a breath in. Breath out, come up, warrior two variation. And for this shape, you can toe heel your right foot so it lines up with your left knee. Arms reach out front and back, lift the pubic bone, lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, straighten out your right leg. Exhale, sink into your right knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to sink. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to straighten. And left hand will plant down in line with your left knee. Supported side plank. big circles with the right arm. Big sweeping circles, getting as much movement in the shoulder, as much rotation in the arm as you can. Take it the other way. And you can stay just like this, reaching your arm overhead, or lift your right leg up, stabilizing here. And again, you can stay just like this. Here's another option. Or reach back for your foot, capturing the foot, pressing your hips out towards the side of the mat. Getting a good quad stretch, opening up across the front of the pelvis. Inhale. Exhale, release. Then plant your foot back down to the mat if it's lifted. You're going to walk your hands all the way back to the front of the mat, pivoting the back knee as you go, and then re-walk your right foot wide towards the outer edge of the mat. So hands are planted to the inside of your foot. Look forward, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and step forward to squat, malasana, or garland pose. So, for your squat, squatting is really good, helps to open the hips. It's a good position of comfort. It can feel good even during labor to squat or to sit on a birthing ball and get a squat shape. If the squat becomes too much, too physical, at home you can always hold on to a chair or put your hands on a wall. You can also stack your blocks and sit on your blocks. But even if you're sitting on the blocks, get some engagement in your glutes so you're trying to wrap your butt cheeks underneath you. That was a kind of a funny movement. And then press down through the outer edges of your feet. So the pinky toes, the pinky edge of the foot, that's all going to press down. And hands can be at heart center, or arms can be to the inside of your knee if you're up a little bit higher, if you're sitting on blocks. But do keep a long spine, so you're not crunching up here. You're staying extended, staying proud across your chest. Wherever you're at, stay for a deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the ground. Lift your butt up and toe heel your feet so that the toes are pointing forward, but you still have a little more than hip width distance between your feet. So your feet are almost as wide as the mat. And then soften your knees, let your head relax. Hands can be on blocks, hands can be on the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, hands press into your shins, keeping a soft bend in your knees, but lengthen your spine, like you're trying to stretch as long as you can from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Exhale to fold. Inhale is going to roll you all the way up to stand. Taking your time as you come all the way up, arms can reach overhead, and then pull your hands through midline. All toes face the front of your space. Press down actively through your feet. Hug the shoulder blades together. Lift the sternum up towards your thumbs and point your tailbone down. And then just ground into the stability of standing, actively pressing through all corners of your feet. And lift your right knee up, one-legged Tadasana, to figure four. Cross your ankle over your thigh, sit down and back. And if this is feeling good and stable, you can stay just like this. Placing your hands on your leg can feel a little bit more supportive. And it'll also help to open up through that knee. Now, you know how good you are at balancing, right? So you can decide how much balancing you want to do in your practice, or if you need to be next to a wall, to put your hand against a wall. If you're in a public yoga class, make sure you're next to a wall in case you need it, if you're unsure about your balancing. And just having a wall is good. We're going to do Spoiler alert, we're gonna do legs up the wall at the end. So when you go to a public class, people will move for you. Ask them to move. It's not rude. I would ask people to move in my classes for you, but you can do it for yourself. And being next to a wall gives you a lot more support. If you are feeling off balance, you can reach out. And if you want to end your practice in legs up the wall or utilizing the wall in some other way, you can. All right, come back up. And then step your feet together and sit down into chair pose. Toe heel your feet about hip distance apart. Engage your glutes, and then rest your hands down at heart center. Deep breath in. Exhale, twist to your left, right hand on your knee, left hand on your lower back. So you can still do chair twist, of course, just modify the depth of the twist and the support that you need. Keep sinking your way back into your heels. And inhale, come back through center, hands meet at your chest. Exhale to forward fold. Making sure your feet are wide enough so you have space. Give a little sway right and left. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, long back, long neck. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Now, at some point, high plank might not feel good anymore to hold, but holding high plank is good for strengthening, and as long as it feels good and safe for you, go ahead and do it. If not, lower your knees down to the mat here. Then instead of chaturanga, which if you're in a public class, it's probably going to happen, it's probably going to be part of the flow, you can do your tabletop balance. Taking one side, taking the other, opposite hand, opposite leg, extend. You can also take a moment in a seated meditation if you need some rest. You can also take a moment in some bridge pulses. So coming back over onto your back, if you're looking for something that is more strengthening, but also, of course, available to you. Hips press up, walk the arms in, take a couple of pulses while people are going through their chaturanga. And then you can meet everyone back in downward facing dog when you're ready. And that'll just look like crossing your ankles, coming over onto your hands, and pressing your hips up and back. All right, deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step between your hands. And again, modify as you need to. You can always place your back knee down and then step that foot forward from that shape instead of a downward facing dog, if that feels more stable. And that foot is wide again to the outside of your hand. Come to fingertips, lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale, half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Lengthening out your front leg and then roll out your ankle. And everyone's pregnancy experience and fitness level is going to be different. So if you didn't have a yoga practice before you got pregnant and you weren't, practicing a fitness routine regularly, you're going to have to be pretty gentle, right? Take that into consideration. Just because another pregnant lady or another pregnant person is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it, right? Doesn't even mean you're able to do it. So take your own fitness level into consideration. All right, walk yourself forward to lunge. Then come all the way up Anjaneyasana. Always making the modifications that you need that feel good in your body. Inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift your chest, press your elbows back in space, press your feet down into the mat. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Sternum lifts straight up towards the sky. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, open twist to your left. Right hand forward, left hand back. And if that is too much in your arms and your shoulder, right hand to your left thigh, left hand to your lower back. Breathing into that rotation, keeping your breath smooth, continuous. Inhale, make your way back through center. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, landing to the inside of your foot. And then take your right foot, move it over to the left. So that shin is crossing the mat, and right arm peels open, extended side angle variation. And a block can feel really nice here, give you some more space, and it can be on any level. You're still going to get the opening in your hip, lift the pubic bone towards the ribs to get a little bit more opening. Inhale, exhale to come up, warrior two variation, and then look down, and you can toe heel your left foot in line with your right knee. Reaching out front and back, trying to have your arms level with the ground and your shoulders down out of your ears. Inhale, extend your leg, left leg. Exhale, sink into that knee. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to lunge. One more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the ground in line with your right knee. And those left toes will pivot towards the long edge of the mat. Big circles with your left arm. Big wrapping circles. Take it around the other direction, full range of motion. Extend your arm out overhead. You can stay just like this. And it may be different day to day what you feel like you can do. Maybe lift the left leg. If that's still feeling groovy, reach back for your foot. And I came up onto my fingers to get that connection. Again, it gave me a little bit more space to have some more height in that right arm to get the bind. Kick your hand into your foot. Hug your shoulder blades onto your back. Big opening across the front of the thigh. Inhale. Exhale, release. Let go of that bind and plant your foot back down on the ground. Walk your hands to meet your left foot, pivoting your back knee as you go. And then toe heel your left foot wide again so your hands can fit to the inside of your foot. Come to fingertips, come up onto your back toes, step forward to squat, Malasana. So again, you can sit on blocks. If it's feeling good to sit or to be in this posture with no blocks, then stay here. Elbows can press to the insides of the knees, press into the outer edges of the feet. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Turn the toes forward as you bow. Keep picking up the sit bones, and again, you can shift your hips right and left. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, long back, long neck. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Gather energy into your hands and pull that down through midline. And then lift your left knee up one-legged Tadasana to figure four, crossing your ankle over your thigh, sitting down and back. And again, option here to stay perfectly upright with shoulders back, hands together at your heart, or hands down onto your shin, feeling a little more support there. And this practice is about connecting with your body, right? About checking in with what's going on, being more aware, being more in tune with yourself, and honoring what you find. So if you need more support one day, if you need more challenge the next day, back and forth all around, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Your energy level, your ability, it's going to shift, and not necessarily just progressively less energy and less ability, right? You might feel stellar one day in your third trimester and really want to, whatever, do whatever. So be aware that your energy is going to fluctuate. It's not always going to be the same, and that's okay. All right, come back up and step your feet together, chair pose, sit low, feet are about hip distance apart, arms can extend, or hands can be together in front of your chest again. And don't let your knees bow out, don't let your knees knock in, thigh bones stay parallel, weight stays back in your heels. Inhale, exhale, twist to your right hand on your back, left hand on your thigh. Staying strong in your legs. And again, lifting your pelvic floor here. Getting some strengthening there as you sit back into this chair. All right, inhale back through center, both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Again, giving yourself enough space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Lower your knees to the mat. Kick your right leg back, left arm forward, tabletop balance. You can even pulse here, lifting thumb, lifting heel. Pulse, pulse, hand and foot come back down. Kick your left leg back. Right arm forward. Give a couple of pulses. Lift, lift, lift. Hand and knee come back down. Child's pose. Walk your knees wide. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Giving yourself a rest. Sinking into your hips. Inhale, roll yourself back up, sitting back on your heels. And then finding a block here, you may or may not want the block. You can place the block in between your thighs, squeeze the block for some more stability, tuck your toes under, press your hips forward. And reach both arms straight up. Tailbone points down, lift your rib cage. Lift your rib cage a little bit more. Lift your rib cage a little bit more. And circle your right hand onto your lower back, fingertips point down. Press that hip forward. Guide your left thumb back, lean back. Squeeze the block, keep lifting your sternum straight up, like you're being pulled up by a string. And come back up. Inhale, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the sternum. Lift the sternum, lift the sternum, circle your left hand to your lower back. Pressing your left hip forward, staying lifted in the spine, staying lifted in the chest, reach your right thumb back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, both hands to your lower back. elbows squeeze in, pick up the sternum, open through your throat. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, sit back on your heels. You can set that block aside if you used it. Place a hand over your chest, a hand over your belly. Touch in with your heartbeat, touch in with your breath rhythm. All right. You can release that, and we are going to take a supported pigeon. So you're going to need your bolster here, and you might also want a block. You'll step your right foot in front of the bolster, toe heel the foot across until your hip, your thigh are resting on your bolster, but your knee, your shin, your ankle are all in front of that bolster. And then you can lean forward, maybe have that underneath your chest, more likely have it underneath your forehead. And feel that external rotation in your thigh. Let the back of your neck relax. And you may not be able to fold forward, so you can stay up on your hands. You can also bring blocks underneath your hands to give yourself even more height. But the bolster, besides making it a little easier to have even weight between your hips, helps to keep your shin more parallel with the top of the mat. All right. And then come back up onto your hands if you've lowered, and you're going to pull that bolster out from underneath you. Bring your right hip down to the mat and swing your left leg out to the side. So you're seated in a seated position now. Arms come up, inhale. Exhale, right hand down to the inside of your leg. Press the back of your arm into the leg to turn your chest open and reach your right arm over. You may be able to reach out for your foot. You may be able to come all the way down, hand to foot, but do what you can do. Inhale to come back up. Plant your right hand by your right hip. Press up onto your shin. Circle your left arm back, stargazer pose. Inhale. Exhale, come back down. And bring your feet together. Place your hands underneath your feet, press your knees down, lift your sternum up, deep breath in. Big exhale. All right, and we're gonna take the other side. Grab your bolster again. And this time, you'll step your left foot in front of the bolster, toe heel your foot across. Right leg extends back. And then fold forward as much or as little as you want to. There is a lot of, I think, both fear-mongering, and wanting to place control over pregnant people. That's out there on the internet, and we all know, don't listen to everything you say on the internet. I realize that I'm saying that from the internet. But you know yourself, right? And if you're pursuing this yoga video during your pregnancy, you probably know yourself pretty well, right? You're probably at least somewhat in tune with your body. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to move. And there's just so much telling pregnant people what not to do, which is pretty much everything. Where there's so much you can do, right? There's so much that you can do to support your own comfort, to support your own mental well-being, to support your own health and the health of your baby, and the health of your family and the health of your community. And it's going to be different, like I said, for everyone. I have worked with women who have literally been doing arm workouts until the day they go into labor. And I have worked with women who are more comfortable relaxing and taking baths and sitting in their garden, enjoying their flowers and baking a cake, the day before they go into labor. So it is not one size fits all. And don't make your decisions based on fear. That is my doula advice. All right. Slide that bolster out from underneath you. Hip back down to the mat, left hip down, and then extend your right leg out to the side. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, right arm down, left arm over. Again, using that right arm to press to the inside of your right leg to twist your chest open as you reach over. Inhale, come back up, plant your hand by your hip, roll up onto your shin. Right arm circles behind you, lift the pelvis up, lean back, stargazer pose, or the Beyonce. Inhale, exhale, come back down, and plant your hands behind you. Stamp your feet about as wide as the mat. Rock your knees right and left. Then come onto your back. Happy baby. Grab for the outsides of your feet or the backs of your knees. You can get a little rocking and rolling, Ananda Balasana, blissful baby, or tantrum baby if that's more how you're feeling. You can really press down through your lower back as you pull your feet back towards you. Deep breath in. Big breath out. And release your feet. Rock yourself up to a seat. And I'm going to give an option for your Shavasana. So you can be in a side lying shape if that feels better for you. At some point, it may feel better for you. So you can roll up a blanket and then have your bolster by your belly. So you'll lay on your side, and then you can put your top knee on your bolster. And this is a great way to Shavasana. You can also place a block with your bolster on that block and lay back over the bolster with your feet together, knees wide, or with your legs extended. And then another option that I think often feels good is legs up the wall. So find a wall that's close to you. I guess I have one so I can demo. Find a wall that is open. It's good to have your blanket for behind your head and to support your shoulders, but you'll get your butt relatively close to the wall and then swing your legs up, pulling your blanket behind your head and neck. And then your feet can be close together, feet can be wide, and your butt doesn't have to be super close to the wall. especially if you're tight in your hamstrings, have your butt maybe a foot away from the wall. It'll be easier to keep your legs up. And then relax. Scan your body for any place where you might be holding tension. Take this time to touch into any apparent sensation. Settle back into an awareness of your breath. And if you liked that meditation, you stay in Shavasana. I'm just going to move. If you liked that meditation that I gave at the beginning of class, you'll inhale for 4, exhale for 8. And as you inhale, see that light, and it really can be any color. Your favorite color is always a good one to choose. But visualize a light glowing from your belly, moving up through your spine, through your chest, through your head, pouring out the crown of your head and surrounding your body in a protective orb of light. As you exhale, that charged light, charged energy flows back in through the crown of your head, moves down your spine, surrounds your belly, and flows all the way down your legs to the soles of your feet. And if you're ready to move on with your day, you can roll over onto your side if you're not on your side already. Take a moment there, curled into yourself. Get a little bit of movement, and then press yourself up to a seat. And if you have the time to stay in Shavasana, to keep doing that meditation, to relax for longer, go ahead and do it. I'm just going to guide everyone else out of class. So if you have chosen to come back up to a seat, you can plant a hand over your chest, a hand over your belly. Breathe out into your own touch, feeling that connection to your body, to your natural rhythms. May our practice help us feel connected to our physical form, growing a deep and personal relationship with our innermost self, developing a greater ability to both give and receive love. Deep breath in together. Big breath out. Thank you for joining me in this practice, for choosing to take time for yourself, choosing to engage in self-care, which is such a personal practice, but it does ripple out in its effects to our family, our community. So it does make a greater difference. So again, thank you for practicing. Thank you for being here with me. Namaste. And until next time, I hope you can let something go.